So we're just going to go through the key elements of our scenarios for agriculture and land now. Next one, Rachel. So in this sector, all of the abatement we identify requires some sort of behaviour change. So that's a pretty, drastic thing to be asking of this sector. And it really requires, a drastic way in which land is used in order to meet our climate target. It really means raising agricultural productivity so we can grow more with less, and using that land feed up to actively restore habitats. Our analysis shows that we can still maintain current per capita food production by using land more efficiently and changing what we produce. And the chart on the right sets out the key changes in land from now and in 2050 and shows that increased afforestation, peatland restoration, use of bioenergy crops, and growing trees on farms. And achieving this requires concerted action on the part of both consumers of food and land managers. And the next couple of slides illustrate this a bit more. So in terms of actions on the part of consumers, there are two essential aspects of this: diet change and reducing food waste. We've mentioned diet change quite a lot already, and that's because it's the single most important factor that we can do to release land from agriculture and to enable land to be used for nature-based solutions. And this is because meat and dairy are the most carbon-intensive protein sources, but they're also inefficient ways to use land. Our scenarios that we've developed for our report reduce consumptions of these high carbon foods by 20 to 50% on current levels. And whilst we've seen trends towards vegetarian and flexitarian diets, these needs to be ramped up. It requires consumers to engage with this debate and for supermarkets and producers to create and offer more plant-based options. In terms of food waste, we currently waste around a third of all food consumed in the UK, which is a massive waste of resources. And our scenarios assume that these can be cut by 50 to 70% on 2007 levels by 2050. So this is perhaps even more difficult for consumers to achieve. They have to be thinking about what they buy, how they store food, but also it requires food suppliers and technology to help in that process in order to achieve this. Okay, Rachel, so the final slide I've got for you is just to give you a flavour of the different actions that we're asking farmers and land owners to do things differently. So we need, in order to meet our climate goals. So we need farmers to implement a range of low carbon farming practices covering crops and soils, livestock diets and breeding. We need to significantly ramp up afforestation rates. We need to plant more energy crops to around 0.7 million hectares by 2050. We need to restore most of peatlands or sustainably manage them. And we need to use agroforestry on around 10% of existing agricultural land. None of this is easy. There are over 200,000 farms in the UK. Most of them are small. Farmers need to overcome a range of barriers. It's not just about costs, but also about acquiring knowledge and skills in these new areas for them, getting our R&D on farm level, and scaling up the industries and supply chains. Okay, Rachel, hand over